When you think about man-melting phrases, it sounds too good to be true. I mean, really, how could a special combination of words make a guy truly fall for you? And if these words do work, then why isn't everyone using them? Well, the thing is, men and women both want the same things from relationships: love, mutual growth, and secure attachment. But men experience these things in a totally different way than women. So that's why what you say to a man can and does dramatically influence his perception of you and the bond that you have together. Some phrases communicate that you really do get him and appreciate him for who he is. And other phrases communicate that you are a woman of value, a real catch that he feels lucky to be with. And you'll want to stick around for number 1, which is something all men want to hear. We're about to explore the top 7 man-melting phrases that make men fall for you. And we'll reveal several revelations about men that he wished you knew, but could never properly explain. But first, please take a quick second to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel and get more life-changing videos. Plus, stick around to find out how you can get a free gift from me, one that's designed to improve your love life forever. Right, now it's time to reveal our top 7 man-melting phrases, starting with number 7. I'm proud of you because. The thing about men is they aren't as logical as they'd like to think they are. In fact, they can be downright weird. As a woman, you'd think that making a man feel loved is what he wants. After all, that's what you'd want to feel. So it makes sense that he'd want the same thing, right? Well, not really. Studies show that while women want love and secure attachment the most, men, on the other hand, would rather feel alone and unloved than feel disrespected or inadequate. So unfortunately, your love is not enough. It should be, but it isn't. That means the way you want to receive love doesn't quite mean the same thing for him. So it's critical to understand what's important to him. And most women don't realise that if a man feels disrespected, it also makes him feel unloved, even if she tells him she loves him all the time. And that's why the phrase, "I'm so proud of you because," is so important. If you pick something that he does and it's important to your life together and use that as a reason for being proud of him, then he can't help but feel valued and respected. And you can totally phrase this differently too, as it's the meaning behind the words that's the most important thing. For example, you could say something like, "I believe in you. I really admire you for being so focused and driven." By appreciating and respecting him, he'll actually feel even more loved than saying the words "I love you." What's also really interesting is that once a man feels respected, he gives love back. So when you notice his qualities, he naturally wants to tell you that he loves you more, and he also can't help but notice and appreciate your qualities as well. This helps create a win-win cycle of mutual growth in your relationship. The next phrase in our countdown to number 1 man-melting phrases, number 6, you make me feel. When you tell a man how he makes you feel, he feels as though the positive actions he takes with you are meaningful. Whether you tell him he makes you feel happy, sexy, special, or even safe around him. Telling him how he makes you feel empowers him with a sense of fulfillment and purpose in the relationship. For instance, if you tell a guy that he makes you feel safe, it makes him feel like he's the man, the guy you will go to as her rock that she can lean on. It really taps into that primal masculine side of him that drives him to want to protect you. And in his eyes, he feels a desire to want to continue to be your hero in life. It's also important to realise that you don't have to use the exact phrasing "you make me feel" in order to communicate how he makes you feel. You can let him know how you're feeling in your body language and tone of voice that you use. For example, you can say things like, "I trust your judgment on this one, sweetie. I really loved it when you stepped up and took charge of that sales meeting when your manager called in sick." Some women might think that praising his masculine side will upset the balance of power in the relationship, but this couldn't be further from the truth. When you validate a man's leadership qualities, it simply communicates a sense of respect to him, and he'll love you for seeing those things in him. More importantly, it shows that you trust him enough to lean on him and recognise him as a source of support in your life. There's no better feeling in the world than that. Alright, let's move on to the next man-melting phrase. Number 5. You look so handsome. Women stress about their appearance most of the time, but what they may not realise is that men experience this in their own way. There's a lot of advertising aimed at women to make them feel insecure about their bodies deliberately. And while men might not get as much of that on their end, that doesn't mean they don't have hang-ups about their bodies as well. So the phrase, "you look handsome," really does a simple but effective job of reminding a man that despite his insecurities about his physical appearance, you still find him attractive. That said, try to lock in on a few things you like about him and personalise this man-melting phrase to make your man feel like eye candy. To give you a few ideas, you could tell him things like, "Oh my, you fill out that suit quite nicely. Well, aren't you just a sight for sore eyes? Hey there, handsome, you're looking extra hot today. How'd I get so lucky to land a treat like you? That waitress was checking you out and I don't blame her." So yes, men like to be objectified a little bit if it's coming from their partner. Okay, we're halfway through our list, but before we continue, it's time for your free gift. Check out the link in the description below. Now back to our list. Number 4. I love you exactly the way you are. This phrase is a big one for men. After all, every person wants their partner to accept them for who they are with no strings attached. And from a guy's perspective, criticism is the one thing that really erodes a relationship. Most men feel like their partners treat them as a work in progress rather than accepting who they are as a person. And having that thought in the back of their mind will eventually turn into resentment. After all, no one wants to feel like they need to be fixed by their partner. That's why it's crucial for you to deal with this pain point by letting him know that you don't need to change him. So using the right words can take this specific pressure off him. And while there's nothing wrong to inspire your man to grow and level up as a person, he still needs to know that you accept him for who he is right now. For example, you can tell him things like, "I love you for who you are. You're perfect the way you are. I don't see it the same way, but I respect your opinion. I understand where you're coming from." Research shows that almost 70% of marital conflicts are not solvable, and that means that there are things you'll never agree on 100%, and your core personalities won't change. So this also means that accepting each other's personalities and accepting your differences are a big part of staying together. Number 3, I'm here for you. A lot of men find it hard to admit that they feel insecure and vulnerable. There's this unspoken pressure on a guy to man up and get over it when life knocks them down. Some men have grown up believing that acknowledging these things out in the open is a sign of weakness, and that's why they go through life feeling this immense pressure and not letting their guard down, even around the people that they care about. In the back of their mind, they're worried about being seen as less of a man, so they'll keep their feelings of insecurities from slipping through the cracks. So the best thing to do is to make him feel that you've got his back. And when you make your relationship a safe place for him to be vulnerable and open up, he'll feel like the luckiest guy on the planet. So that's why it's super important to use phrases like, "I'm here for you," to get that point across. You can communicate this basic idea in your own way, such as, "Hey, you know I've always got your back, right? I know you're going through a lot right now, and I really admire you for being so brave." When he knows that he's got you in his corner when times get tough, then you've got one loyal and devoted man on your hands. Alright, we're down to just 2 more phrases, so let's get to the next one. Number 2, it's okay honey, go have fun. Here's a bit of a tough pill to swallow. As much as a guy loves being in a committed relationship, there's that primal part of him that yearns to be free. And the bottom line is that from time to time, he'll want to do stuff without you. Now for some women, that may seem like a terrifying thought, but let's take a step back and think about this for a second. If you look at the bigger picture, and in particular the long-term health of your relationship, this is something you want him to do. Whether you've been together for a few months or a few years, both of you still need to grow outside the relationship. Remember, a lack of individuality is the worst chemistry killer. That said, it's critical that you respect his need for freedom. So when you let him spend time on his hobbies and do things that keep him engaged in life and make him the exciting and passionate guy that he is, then everyone wins. Before he goes out, keep it simple and tell him things like, "Don't stress about it, sweetie. I think I can survive a few hours without snuggling you. You do you, babe. I'll be right here when you get back." And when you offer him this kind of support, he'll really feel that you get him. Okay, let's jump into the number 1 man-melting phrase. Number 1, you're an amazing lover. It's impossible to go through this list without talking about this one area of your relationship. After all, passion and intimacy are the lifeblood of a romantic relationship. And so he'll definitely love it when you serve up a handful of sensuous compliments in the bedroom. Now, it's totally up to you if you want your compliments to be PG-13, R-rated, or beyond that. But the important thing is that you acknowledge his efforts in bed and give him a lot of encouragement. That said, you can try out a few things like, "I love it when you do that. That was mind-blowing. You feel so big. I want to feel you against me. I'm almost there. I can't stop thinking about last night. You're such a great kisser. You satisfy me so much." So when you make him feel like a wizard in bed, he couldn't be happier. And that wraps up today's video. Now that we've gone through the 7 best man-melting phrases guaranteed to knock any man off his feet, I want to know what you think. Do you have any special phrases that you've said to a guy and it absolutely floored him? If you said anything to a guy and he went from being on the fence to falling head over heels in love with you, I'd love to hear it. Share your personal man-melting phrases in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to ring that notifications bell. That way you'll get my latest dating and relationship videos. And check the link in the description below for your free gift. It's the book version of today's video, the top 7 man-melting phrases that make men fall for you. Plus, you'll get full access to our newsletter series packed with tips and tricks on how to have an incredible relationship with the man of your dreams. Alright, that's all we have time for now, and I'll see you in the next video.